Well, tonight we are blessed to hear from Sandy Sandoval. Come on up, my brother and friend. Well, last service, I said this at the very beginning that I got here last May, and I kept seeing this guy everywhere that I went in meeting people in the congregation. You were serving all over the place, in the kitchen, at the community meal, down at the Des Moines Food Bank, at the Quilters. And I'm like, is there anything this guy doesn't do? And so that's my opening question. Is there anything you don't do?
Well, let me think about it, okay?
No, tell us all of the ministries that you are pouring out salt and light and life to as you serve.
The food bank, coupled with the backpack program, the community meals here, the men's homeless shelter here at Grace, the community cleanups that are done at Grace, the Grace Quilters, a project that I have taken upon myself is Redondo Creek Beautification, an organization called Global Volunteers, and another organization called Habitat for Humanity.
That's a long list. We would be here until tomorrow morning if I let him unpack each of those. But I want to pinpoint one here in a minute, but tell me how God grabbed you. What was a transformational point in your life where you said, I'm created to serve? That's what God is asking of me. How did that happen?
That happened when I moved here and became a member of Grace. I had always helped people, but I always helped my family and friends and neighbors, people that I knew. It wasn't until I came here to Grace where I was introduced to helping people that I did not know, or people that lived in another country. That was the big change coming here.
Yeah. So you're saying it's all of these people's fault?
Yes. Yeah.
So you all get the blame, and God gets the credit.
Yes.
Yeah, because God has been at work through so many in stirring the imagination of others to do this. Yeah. And so one of them that I know you've really poured out your life into is Habitat for Humanity, both here in the U.S. but also internationally. Can you speak about that work and what drew you to that and some of the joy but also the challenge that you faced in that experience?
Okay. So we can regress just a little bit so I can tell a small story.
Yeah.
And some of you may have heard it before, but it goes like this. One day there was a big fire in the forest, and all the animals were running out of the forest. And they saw a hummingbird coming in with a mouthful of water, and he spit it on the fire and headed back out to refuel again, to get more water in his mouth. He was heading back into the fire, and one of the animals stopped him and asked him, they said, are you crazy? What are you doing? There's a fire in there. And the hummingbird looked at them and he said, I'm doing what I can. That's kind of how I see myself as a hummingbird. So when I'm going to talk, I'm probably going to talk about other hummingbirds. But for Habitat, we had the opportunity to go to New Orleans, and just on the spur of the moment, we said, well, we're going down there. Maybe we should see what we can do to help somebody while we're down there. So we checked into Habitat, and they said, okay. And it was that first trip that really got me. And I remember a young girl who came into a house that we were working on, and there were just, the plywood was on the floor, and the stud walls were up. So you could see completely through the house. There was no drywall, no roof, no nothing. A little girl, probably 8 years old, came in while I was sweeping, and she said, isn't this great? And I said, yes, it is, just calmly. And she said, this is my bedroom. And she had never had her own bedroom before. So for the first time in her life, this was going to be, she was so excited. Other stories are a young boy in Montana, and maybe some of you are not aware that you cannot play midget football in Montana unless you have a permanent address. He was so excited he was going to have a permanent address. So you never know what kind of an effect you're going to have on an entire family when these hummingbirds make a house that's sturdy and strong and available for them. Or another lady in Hawaii who got up in front of all of these hummingbirds that flew across the ocean to help her, and she was giving her thanks for that. Her emotion was so strong that tears came to her eyes and she could not speak anymore. It was so strong that it affected me in the same way, tears, and I could not speak. You cannot say no to that again. When you feel that emotion, it's inside of you, you just can't. It's so overwhelming to know that you are affecting somebody's life, changing an entire family, but not only that, helping the community, because these people are employed, they have a job, they have, they're buying a house just like you would, only they have been handed a hand up because they needed it. So it's helping the community as well, because these are people that are working and the response coming back, the kids are doing well in school, they're taking pride in their house, they're inviting other people in, and these people are promising to help somebody else. So it's like a pay it forward. It's like a win-win-win situation.
Yeah. And so when you go to serve, the thought is, yeah, we can make an impact, but something that happens there is you find out that you're experiencing transformation too.
Yes.
Because a relationship is being formed.
Yes.
Can you talk for just a couple minutes on those kinds of relationships and the impact of those relationships of walking alongside, serving with, and maybe some of those relationships you still carry with you today?
The relationships are not so much with the recipients of these homes. The relationships are more with the hummingbirds that are there, that are doing what they can. And in particular, I do want to bring up an instance in Alaska. There was a bill there, and there were 3 young ladies from Toronto that were there. They were deaf. And so they hired a lady to do sign language for that build. After the first day that they let the lady go, everybody was communicating. One of the young gals had never done anything before like that. So she was on the same crew that I was. We were on the 2nd floor putting up trusses on the 2nd floor. And this girl was able to do that. So we finished that crew, they said, well, I wonder who's going to put the roof boards, the 4x8 sheets of plywood on top of the trusses. I said nothing because I knew who was going to do it. The next day they found out. Long story short, all of them participated in that. They couldn't wait to get home. They were so empowered with what they could do. They had never given the opportunity. They couldn't wait to get home to let everybody know what they had done, how many lives that they had changed, and what they actually did. To see something like that, a change in people, a change in the hummingbirds. They were really humming.
Yeah.
I mean, I was glad for them. I had done that before, so it was no big deal for me. Yeah. But to see the change in them was incredible.
Yeah. Sandy, how do you see yourself being changed over the years as you've been serving? What is it that you've discovered that you had no idea about before, but now it's the kind of the wow, or my eyes see the world differently, or the kinds of things that you've experienced that have said, this is new, this is different than I thought?
Yeah. It's a very interesting question. For me, it's empathy for those who are in need of want, but it's not just here, it's all over. A question I have asked myself before, where I would be at, what I would be doing right now had I been born in Somalia. And I am blessed. I'm really blessed to be born here, to be a part of this congregation here with all the different ministries, to help change people's lives. When you think about it, that's pretty powerful. But that's the Creator is asking me to do that. I'm just attempting to do what He is asking me to do. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe another would be just that God's creations are on the other side of the world as well as they are here. And a lot of times we tend not to be aware of that because it is on the other side of the world, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. They're there. The need is just as much there as it is here.
Yeah. So you're going to be somewhere at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yes.
And this is a really big deal.
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest big deals there is.
Yeah.
9 o'clock in the morning here at Grace. What is it that you, the only male that I see usually show up, what is it that you're going to be doing?
9 o'clock tomorrow, right in the other room there will be 10 or 15 hummingbirds showing up to construct quilts. They will reach the 10,800th milestone tomorrow. Think about it, 10,800. Picture that in your mind. That's what Grace quilters, the hummingbirds at Grace, have done since 1968. So they need to be applauded, the quilt makers, and I'm proud to be part of that.
Yeah. So from small amounts of stitching to building houses to walking alongside folks to serving meals, to bring this together, you said there's 3 parts that you really want to give your life to in service.
Food, clothing, and shelter.
Food, clothing, and shelter.
Yeah, the necessities.
Yeah. And with that vision, that's what you've been able to serve here in these years of your life, which is a powerful witness. I want to say you've already inspired me. I've only known you a short time, and I've already signed up now for an international habitat build. I always wanted to do it. I hadn't done it. I met you, and I'm like, I got to go do it now. And so I'm signed up this fall, all because of Sandy and meeting somebody who has laid down his life that way. Tell us quick about the mosquito before we end up.
The saying that if you think you're too small to make a difference or make a change, try sleeping with a mosquito. I don't particularly like mosquitoes, but I love hummingbirds, so that's why I consider myself a hummingbird. I don't want to be known as a mosquito, but hummingbird is a little more pleasant. So they're more beautiful, and I just like the way that they kind of fly over here and do something, and then fly over there and do something else, and fly over there and do something else. So
and that image is so powerful for us as Grace because we all can do something.
Everybody can do something. Everybody has a talent, and they can help in so many ways. I can give you an example of a young girl. I think she was 16 years old. She wanted to go on a habitat build, and they have a regulation there. You must be 18 in order to participate. So her father agreed to go along with her. They were from California. He was had a catering business, a very successful business. He had a lot of money. He accompanied his daughter. So at the end of the build, I said, "Well, are you looking forward to your next build?" He said, "No way, I'm never doing this again." And I looked and he said, "But I know how I can help." We were being sent to different homes in the Anchorage area after we worked on the homes every day. And these different families were providing meals for the team. That's what he had in mind, his contribution to Habitat. He was doing what he could. And that's pretty much what it boils down to. Everybody has something that they can do, contribute.
Well, the needs of the world are great, and we're called to be hummingbirds who go out and serve. And so how about we give Sandy a huge round of applause here for his work.
Thanks for watching. I hope this video can further the discussion of your relationship with Christ, either at home or maybe in the comments below.